This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. Hello. How the hell's it going, everybody? All right, so this is a risky live here because I don't know if I have a working live stream for the press conference, but I know there's one that's out there. So if anybody has the a known for sure live stream, it starts in 14 minutes. Apparently there's a press conference with the military, the Army. And I think we'd all like to hear that, right? If not, we'll come back on later with it figured out. Yeah, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. So here's my email address if you know that you have a link that works. All right? I just put it in the chat there. So you definitely want to hear this in the Vanessa Guillen case. It's been pretty awful how the base has treated the family during this 2-month period. She went missing on April 22nd. It's actually almost 2.5 months. Right, so I tried KHOU 11. I didn't see it there. Then also, let's see. Yeah. So if you guys know where it's playing on Facebook or something like that, send me an email. And then type in, look it. I sent you the email, great. Look it. Because I spent like, I don't know, an hour trying to figure out where it would be playing, but nobody said, hey, we're going to have this covered. Normally they do. Huh? It's crazy making stuff and height of... I don't know what that means. Ada, you have to rewrite that one. That's girl code for sure. Hello everybody. Stacy, Renee, Steve, Debbie, Madonna. Ada using girl code. It's crazy making stuff and height of pandemic this all happened. Huh? What does that even mean? Of course it meant complete sense to everybody else. It was like, it was absolutely meaningful. It's crazy out there, everybody. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, see, some of you understood, but it literally makes no sense to a rational mind, except women are able to decipher irrational information and can turn it into something absolutely meaningful. It's a skill that I think everybody wishes they had, but guys apparently don't have it. You guys should be called super women. Like maybe I should make a t-shirt that has a looks like Superman logo, but it says something else. Oh yeah, that's right. Epstein's procurer was arrested today, and man, what do you think the odds of her not living through this? I hope, you know what they should do is strap her down and have 50,000 guards surrounding her. Because they aren't going to want to know. She knows everything. She knows everything. Anyways, has anybody found a good link yet? Because I don't have one. Yeah. Oh, you sent me one? Okay, cool. Alright, there's 2 people that sent it.
We start off with this morning. Guillen's family spoke out at a press conference in Washington, D.C. one day after authorities.
Mattresses and all of our furniture is discounted from.
I think I have that same link, but how do you know it's going to be playing? When you hit the watch live button, it just kind of plays. It's the same one I had earlier. Let's try this one.
And if this could happen to my sister, what makes you think
Okay,
it
so
could happen to other
KHOU.
service women and men?
If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I want everyone on that basis.
See, KHOU doesn't have
I want a congressional investigation to find out who
live
lied
link.
and why.
Powerful and painful words demanding answers. The Guillen family pleading for a congressional investigation after remains are found believed to be those of missing Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen. And breaking just moments ago, more remains.
See, I'm telling you, man, the girl code works. It's freaking amazing. KWTX. See, I'm always feeling happy when there's an actual live feed going. Yeah, everybody sent me the same link to my email. Except Ada's, that actually has the live feed on the screen. Is this the same one? Let's see. It's cool to have a multiple. Let's see if this is a different one. Okay, that's 10. Yeah, I have that one already. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sending it. Yeah. Well, it's definitely... Let me get the screen up for you guys. Yeah, do you see how Gray looks around all the time? Hey, see, look at... I'm looking around at stuff, right? And that's what's funny is... That's why I do the robot move. Okay, so apparently it's supposed to be playing here on K Central TV as well, but that's the link that I found earlier in the day. Or actually, that's the one that Cairo sent me. But I was on KHOU 11, and it doesn't look like it's on there either. See, look how quiet that is.
Yeah, they're printing it now.
Wait, hold on.
Did you plug in here? You should plug in up there. You probably have no sound if you plugged in up there. Everybody's still left with no sound. This is the soundboard.
Okay, I got 2 that are working now.
Yes. You got me get things out of your way. Did you plug here? Yeah, you should plug in up their mic. So. Okay. You probably have no sound. Put their mic up higher. No, he's the priority.
That's pretty low, but.
So yes, he needs to be able to. He has to be able to operate.
So there's two of them right here. This one's working now too.
Yeah.
We'll check.
Who does not have sound? Everybody's good. We're running out of time, so let's sort it out.
That's right.
Everybody's good. We got sound on everything. Everybody's got a visual. White balance is done. All your cell phones are on vibrate.
Pretty quiet.
So again, please.
I can boost it up.
Vanessa will come down and she will call upon you to ask your question.
And don't forget to support your local YouTube
channel. Your
channels.
affiliation, and then ask your question so he knows who he's talking to. Ask only one question. We will go around the room if there's more time, and then you'll be able to ask more questions after that. But we want to give. Yeah, there's 30 agencies here. We got to give everybody an opportunity. It will be at 2, so we still have 5 minutes.
Uh-oh. Hey. Blue. Calm down, Blue.
The general's here to talk to you. He's going to give you the time you need. You'll get the answer.
Yeah, I was actually, after the show last night, I was up till 2 in the morning writing this code for my work. Then I finally got to sleep. But once you have it in your head, you got to do it. You know. I finally realized how to do something. At the at 1, I was sitting there almost about to go to bed, and I go, "Oh, whoa!" And then, psh, and that's how hot car deaths happen. Okay, that same sort of tunnel vision on something. Yeah, well, it's Python. That's a real code.
They're bringing it down. They're printing 40 copies.
Well, actually, I think girl code is real. I just don't know what it looks like. You know, how to decipher it. Yeah, I don't see it live. Oh, wait, there we go.
We have Telemundo Network News. Not Austin, but Network News. Okay. I know where Fox Channel is.
University Kia has been smashing sales records, and we're proud to say it's our customers that deserve all the credit.
Yeah, I pretty much work all day, every day. I put almost the same amount of hours into this as my regular job. Hey, thanks, Kelly78. Thank you for supporting the channel. We got to build up for next month's donation. For those of you who didn't see it, we donated $2,400 this month to charity. $1,400 went to Texas EquiSearch. $700 to the Kyron Harmon Foundation for Allison Watterson, and $300 to the DNA Doe Project. That was our record donation month. Yeah, you can't hear him because he's not talking into the mic. Do you understand that, or? Do you see anybody standing in front of the podium? That's hilarious. So thank you, Nicola Jane and Kelly78. Yeah, Texas EquiSearch we've donated for a long time. It's not just because of this case. This year so far, we've given them, I think, over $2,000 for sure. Thank you, Jennifer Cochran. I think that's what that is. Jennifer, it's cut off. Is that Jennifer Cochran Fent? I can't tell. I've got a few different screens going here. But if it's too low, I'll boost up the gain. And then when I come back, I won't turn it back down on purpose. So that me just saying, hey, how's it going, will sound like a bull, horn right in your head. I mean, it'll just be... Yeah, well, our channel's mission sort of at the end of each month is to donate a really usable amount, something that makes a difference. So this is supposed to start now, but as you can see, there's nobody standing in front of the podium. Thank you, Elifair, Tracy Seamer, Mama Bear, and Amanda B. And Film Chick 63. Getting chewed out? What do you mean? I don't get it. Is that a backhanded diss there? Marmot 97? Yeah, I got that. We showed it last night on the show, Jules. It was in the video. Yeah, so there's a shallow grave that I showed it on the show last night. That they showed a picture of it, of where she was found. She was actually covered in lime and then cement and then covered with dirt. Isn't that weird how there's a lot of similarities other than the lime part? There must be something online that you can read that actually tells you. I mean, lime is sort of this common known thing recently, but in the Daybell case, it's interesting too that you have sort of this outer layer of hard stuff like paneling. So they, like cement's similar to that. And then covered with dirt again after that. So that's almost exactly what we were saying, was it must have been covered with dirt in a way that it tried to make it look natural, spread it around. No, this is a live feed here. Hey, thanks, Linda's House of Chill and Andrea Ruggiero Drum. So here's the other shot over here. Okay, so I might have to boost this up a little bit here. And then let me know if it's loud enough in a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, geez.
You'll be hearing today from Major General Scott Eflant, spelled S-C-O-T-T, last name E-F-L-A-N-D-T, the 3-Corps Deputy Commanding General and 4th Hood Senior Commander.
Jeez.
You'll also hear from Special Agent Damon
for joining us today.
Spelled D.
You'll be hearing today from Major General Scott Eflant,
last name
spelled S-C-O-T-T, last name E-F-F-L-A-N-D-T, the 3-Corps Deputy Commanding General and Fort Hood Senior Commander. You'll also hear from Special Agent Damon Phelps, spelled D-A-M-O-N, last name P-H-E-L-P-S, Senior Special Agent for the Fort Hood Criminal Investigation Division Detachment. They will be providing information on Specialist Vanessa Guillen's investigation. Sir.
Thank you all for joining us today. Events in the last 72 hours have produced significant information allowing us to better understand the disappearance of Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Today we want to share with you the Fort Hood community as much as possible. While doing this, please understand that it's a difficult time for the Guillen family and the Army family here at Fort Hood. And so I ask that you join me in keeping them, the Guillen family, in your thoughts and prayers. Tragically, on April 22nd, Vanessa Guillen disappeared from her place of duty at Fort Hood, Texas. On that day, her unit, the 3rd Cavalry Regiment, initiated a search for Vanessa, and since that day has maintained communications with the family. The day 23rd Investigation Division, referred to as CID, initiated and local law enforcement agencies, and they also remained in contact. Since the beginning, the all involved person, a soldier, and Colleen, who is pending apprehension, not yet been positively identified. When we have the DNA analysis, there is other evidence relevant. Joining me today in this update is Special Agent Damon Phelps, Senior Special Agent for the local CID detachment. Also assisting are members of the supporting agencies. The law enforcement team working this case has done.
Sounds like maybe she was bludgeoned to death with a hammer.
Most sincere gratitude
apparently
for the
in the armory room, just like we were saying. I thought she was strangled though.
Today is on Specialist Guillen's disappearance. The investigation is not over, and our efforts are ongoing. The crime scenes of the abduction and the site of the remains are still active as the search for evidence continues. Similarly, interviews are ongoing in the criminal investigation, and likewise, the thorough investigation into sexual harassment will continue until it's complete and ready for the command's review. As an aside, the criminal investigation has not found any connection between sexual harassment and Vanessa's disappearance. However, all sexual harassment allegations are being investigated in this case, as they are in every other instance. Because sexual harassment is categorically adverse to our Army values, at my request, the FORCECOM commander has directed the Inspector General to A, examine the SHARP program implementation at Fort Hood, B, assess whether the command of soldiers harassment and sexual assault at Fort Hood, and C, to identify any potential systemic issues with the SHARP program at Fort Hood, as well as any resource complaints. I requested this independent review to provide transparency and ensure we implement and maintain the highest standards of the and professional competence.
Let me switch. I'm going to switch over.
Going forward, this exemplary team of law enforcement,
much better.
With all its.
We'll play it again later tonight.
The 3rd Cavalry Regiment and the Casualty Assistance Office will continue to inform and assist the Guillen family. As these activities conclude, I'll be able to share more information with you. At this time, I turn the podium over to Special Agent Phelps to provide an update on the criminal investigation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Special Agent Damon Phelps with the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command, and I'm one of the lead special agents investigating the disappearance of Specialist Vanessa Guillen. I want to start off by saying that the senior leaders of
Jesus Christ.
was completely transparent on
Oh my
all the
God.
investigative matters that we could share. So please
Oh,
keep
shit.
in mind that
That made me
family is
jump out of
fully
my
briefed
seat.
and abreast of all the current facts.
Holy crap.
Allow me to say that this has been and continues to be an extremely trying and painful time for the family and the friends of Specialist Guillen. And I think I can speak for all law enforcement here today that our hearts go out to the family, and we are and have been doing everything in our power to bring Vanessa home and those responsible for her disappearance to be brought to justice. Joining me today, behind me, are law enforcement officers that assisted in this investigation, and we'd like to recognize Mr.
Forget the
Supervisory Deputy
recognition.
Marshal,
Okay,
United
let's
States
just get moving.
Army Marshal Service, Chief Kimball, Killeen Police Department, Ranger Dendy, Texas Rangers, Captain Vales, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, Game Warden K-9 Team, and Trooper Washko, Texas Department of Public Safety. We want to thank you all for your dedication and law enforcement expertise that you have shared since day one when we opened our investigation on April 23rd. I want to remind everyone in attendance today that there's still an active investigation, so I will be limited in what I can confirm or release to you today. As you all know, Specialist Guillen went missing on 22 April 2020. Guillen's unit reported her missing to CID on 23 April when the check of the barracks in the unit area did not locate her. She was last seen that morning in the area near the Regimental Engineer Squadron Arms Room, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, here on Fort Hood, Texas. Her car keys, barracks room key, identification card were later found in her unit's arms room. During the course of this investigation, our law enforcement partners and CID agents have conducted an enormous amount of investigative activity. Agents have conducted more than 300 interviews, more than 10,000 investigative hours, and have been working very closely with numerous agencies since PFC Guillen disappeared. They include FBI, Killeen Police Department, Belton Police Department, Texas Rangers, U.S. Marshals, and the Texas Department of Public Safety, among others. Army CID issued a press release and reward announcements to the public with the media's assistance on April 25th, the 27th, and in June 15th. We want to sincerely thank the public for their desire to help and the information they have provided and continue to provide throughout the investigation, and we encourage anyone with additional information to do the right thing and come forward. To date, our investigation has identified 2 suspects in the connection with Specialist Guillen's disappearance. We are aware that there have been statements made that there are others, but at this point that is incorrect. We have identified 2 suspects. It is very troubling and irresponsible that other soldiers' names have been placed on social media sites and implicated in this investigation when there was absolutely no credible information or evidence that those individuals have anything at all to do with this investigation. And irresponsible. We have interviewed people in the other soldiers' names have been placed on social media sites and implicated in this investigation admitted to us when there was absolutely no credible information whatsoever that those individuals have anything at all to do with this investigation and falsely accuse people. In fact, we have interviewed one of the sons in the course of our investigation wife of a former Fort Hood soldier who posted these false allegations, awaiting charges, and they have admitted to us that they have no evidence or information whatsoever. Authorities, Army CID will not be releasing any further information concerning her or her status at this time. The second suspect is identified as Specialist E4 Aaron David Robinson, a 20-year-old soldier who was assigned to Alpha Company, 3rd Cavalry Regiment at Fort Hood. He entered the Army
yesterday, special agents from the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command after he fled Fort Hood late Tuesday. While law enforcement agencies attempted to make contact with the suspect in Killeen, Texas, Specialist Robinson reportedly displayed a weapon and took his own life.
That's the only name we've put out on this
There's
channel,
also been a
'cause it was
widespread
in the
allegation
paper.
that Specialist Robinson was the superior of Specialist Guillen. This is false. Robinson was an armor who worked in a building adjacent to the building where Specialist Guillen worked, and he was in no way Specialist Guillen's in her chain of command.
So maybe this isn't a
We're still
harassment
investigating their
deal.
interactions.
Something else.
But at this time, there is no credible information or reports that Specialist Robinson sexually harassed Specialist Guillen. If anyone does have credible information to corroborate these allegations, we strongly urge them to come forward and report to us or to their chain of command. Additionally, as you're also aware, the Texas Rangers, with the assistance of and other agents, River in Bell County, Texas, where human remains were discovered on Tuesday. This is still an active scene and part of an ongoing criminal investigation. Because this is not our jurisdiction and a positive identification of the remains has not been made, the Texas Rangers are the lead agency at this site. And I would refer any questions about the specific scene to the Texas Rangers. I can tell you, our agents are working very closely with the Armed Forces Medical Examiner to expedite identification of the remains. We will release information on those remains as soon as we can and after notification is made with the next of kin. We also want to be very clear, we have no credible information or reports that Vanessa Guillen was sexually assaulted.
So what would be the purpose?
We are not aware of any official reports of sexual harassment for Specialist Guillen or any other soldier on her behalf when this important issue was first raised by the family. We were aware early on in PFC Guillen's disappearance that the Guillen family had made statements to the media concerning sexual harassment allegations, but again, we had no further information at this time of that claim. During the course of the investigation and into the disappearance of Specialist Guillen, CID agents uncovered a statement on May 7th that could be considered potential sexual harassment. After subsequent investigation, another allegation of verbal harassment involved in the same individual was discovered. However, subsequent interviews have failed to corroborate this allegation. Nevertheless, we are still investigating. Unfortunately, it did not produce any viable leads as to PF Specialist Guillen's whereabouts. CID agents are working closely with the Fort Hood investigating officer assigned to look into sexual harassment allegations at the unit. Specialist Robinson was not involved in these allegations. Additionally, we have found no credible evidence that an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, walked in on Specialist Guillen in a locker room while she was showering. We welcome anyone with any evidence or credible information to provide us immediately if you have any.
Well, see, that's the thing. If it's just one-on-one,
we fully understand.
Her and him,
we have a lot of
how
questions
can you get
today,
evidence?
but again, this is an ongoing investigation and an active criminal investigation, and we are limited to what we can say. There is still a lot of investigative work to be done, and we ask for your patience. As we included in our press release yesterday, there are obviously pieces of information and evidence that cannot be shared with the public during an active criminal investigation. Doing so can seriously jeopardize the charging and successful prosecution of individuals. When important investigative information is prematurely released, criminals can and will destroy evidence, conspire to change their stories, build false alibis, etc. If anyone has any additional information pertinent to this ongoing investigation, we ask that you contact Army CID immediately. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do have some time for questions. As you are called, please state your name and restate your organization. We will start with Fox News Channel. Hey, Hunter Davis. stirred up a lot of questions about sexual assault and the way that Fort Hood is handling those kinds of cases. What do you have to say to the public about that?
Each allegation of sexual assault or sexual harassment is fully investigated, regardless of the source or what it's related to, whether it's tied to Specialist Guillen's disappearance or not. Because our credibility on this area is so important is why I've asked for an external review to come in and do it. What matters most to the command here at Fort Hood is we have the best environment for soldiers to train and perform their duties. We take those allegations and all allegations seriously, and we're going to pursue them to our fullest extent. It's not acceptable.
Is Telemundo Network News?
Hi, Vanessa said that officials from Fort Hood have been on this hiding information, giving something the truth, and took Vanessa's life.
Couldn't there be two things here?
Let me start
that
with
she was harassed by somebody else, but this murder was something related to something else.
To all of us, certainly, obviously, to her family, but also likewise a loss to.
Seems like everybody needs it to be sexual assault. Like you guys want it to be. It's interesting reading the comments how everybody's so sure that she was harassed by the person who killed her, and we don't know that.
And I am really sorry that I was not able.
He may have tried to rape her. She fought him. He killed her, and then disposed of her body with his own girlfriend.
Share was tempered by my responsibility to protect the integrity of the investigation, so that we could A, find Vanessa, B, prosecute those responsible for this travesty, and in the end be in a position to.
I haven't read today's report. I'm just speculating based on the information.
I just wish I could have done it.
My name is Gray, not Greg.
Balancing those two needs. I'll turn over to Agent Phelps.
I'll play this entire thing later in a better format.
I will add that since the beginning of the investigation, we have kept in constant contact with the family. Clearly, there's some information we cannot release to maintain the integrity of the investigation. And of course,
I'm just kidding, Captain.
We have been completely transparent with the family and have recently provided a full investigative brief.
What does that mean, switching to another channel? Ugh. Yeah, if you don't like the way I do my show, get the hell out of here. I do not give a shit whatsoever. The people who like my channel like my channel. They like the way I think. So if you don't like it, get the hell out of here. All right, thanks.
The investigation has been extensive with people that have had contact with Vanessa, and the investigation is ongoing and will continue until all acts of misconduct are identified, either through the Army's 15-6 investigation relating to sexual harassment or through the criminal investigation run by CID. So the short answer to your question is yes. We've received that, and we're pursuing those, and we will to the end.
Sam Christensen, military writer with the San Antonio Express News, and with Chronicle today as well. General, a couple of things. Were the people in this unit that worked with her friends, were any of those people told? Did she tell any of those people about the verbal harassment and the guy who shows up in the shower? And secondly, how do you respond to the family's claim that the Army here at Fort Hood moves faster to find night vision goggles than they did to find her? That's something they said last week.
I cannot refute the family's suffering in this instant. And there's nothing more important than the safety of our soldiers. As to the interview and the allegations, I'll turn it over to Agent Phelps to talk to specifics.
I can hear the questions, they're just really quiet.
Okay. First, Agent Phelps, there are people here that have said that she told some individuals within her unit, friends, about the sexual harassment and the guy who shows up in the shower. Have you talked to those people? We obviously have heard from them. And I would ask again about the second question. For the family,
hopefully you can hear it.
Was furious. They felt like you searched harder for night vision goggles than you did for her. It was the point that they made 2 or 3 times in that press conference last week.
So to begin with, there has been no information, and we've interviewed hundreds of people, to include all acquaintances and coworkers of Ms. Guillen. So there's no allegation whatsoever that she's been sexually assaulted or harassed, and any hint of information that was sexual harassment was completely looked at without any credible information.
So you're saying the family is lying when they say that Vanessa told them that?
Sir, it pains me that the Army feels that way, and the purpose of this briefing here is to demonstrate the amount of effort and energy, intellect, and resources at the national, state, and local level that have gone into finding Vanessa. And that level of effort compares to anything lesser than a soldier that's part of the Army inventory.
By the way, you said the Army feels that way with the family. You said it pains me because you said.
Yes, it pains me that the Army, that the family, you're right. Yeah, thank you, sir, for that correction. I mean, I'm saddened that the family feels that way, but I'm not refuting that. I mean,
Yeah,
what
I
an
didn't know what the hell he
incredible
was
loss. Thank you.
Austin American Statesman, Heather Osborne here from the Austin American Statesman. Can you confirm?
Should I just stand up here? Should I?
Are you able to in any way confirm if the civilian suspect and Robinson had any sort of relationship, whether that be an intimate relationship or a friendship?
I cannot, but since that relates to the investigation, I'll turn over to Agent Phelps.
Because of the ongoing investigation, we can't get into those details because it's not within our jurisdiction, and that's another agency that's going to be developing those facts.
Stars and Stripes. Rose Thayer here from Stars and Stripes. I have sort of a two-part question. The first one is last week when the family came to visit, was the name of Robinson, was that the name given to you? And then also, what is it that triggered so many developments in the past week and what you police have been doing sort of slowly and
Agent.
So with any investigation, it's the leads that take you to the evidence, and it was just timing, more so that we came across some key evidence, and it takes time to develop this evidence. So we worked very quickly from the beginning to get where we are today. So there was no lack of aggressive investigative activity, if that answers your question. I can't comment on that due to the ongoing investigation. That's right now in conversation. There has not been a public decision made.
Daily Herald.
Yeah, Pat Emmerman here with the Plain Daily Herald. So this is for CID. We got the release yesterday that now it's named Robinson fled Fort Hood. How was he able to flee Fort Hood? Was he, if he was under investigation, was he under confinement? Was he being detained? Can you speak on that?
I can tell you that he was not in CID custody at the time, so I can't answer further on the details.
KPRC.
Phil Archer, KPRC TV in Houston. And I think this may be a question for Agent Phelps. What's your theory? What is the operating theory of motive in this case? Why would the two suspects want to do harm to the soldier?
Again, due to the ongoing investigation, I really can't get into those details.
about the relationship between the two suspects are.
That's still being developed, but no, sir, I can't comment further.
Telemundo Austin.
Unfortunately, again, I can't comment. It's still an ongoing investigation, and that could have an impact on prosecution and charges. I can tell you that we've looked at all video footage that was available, and there was no video cameras or footage in the area where the incident took place or near her unit.
Fox 44. Hello, Fox 44. How do you guys respond to the petition of 180,000 signatures demanding for the closure of the
I appreciate the interest of America.
That guy's like
in their
7'5".
And Fort Hood is a proud component of Central Texas and looks forward to meeting the needs of the nation with the support of the local community.
ABC 13.
Steve Canton here with 13 out of Houston. The Army's been very careful of their wording here. The general used abduction earlier. Can you tell us if Sergeant Robinson killed Vanessa here on base and moved her body from this base? Can you give us any sense of what happened to Vanessa?
I can tell you that it's Specialist Robinson, and no, I can't detail anything more about the investigation. Again, there are people that or there is a person that may be prosecuted, and we can't jeopardize that investigation.
Do you understand, though, how people will be extremely frustrated with that response?
And I can clarify a little bit more. When we have an investigation and we release certain information, it can change the outcome of the investigation and preclude justice. So we're looking for justice in this. We're not trying to be or to stonewall you. We're trying to keep the integrity of the investigation and to ensure justice is served.
KXXV.
I just want to be clear.
KXXV. It's KXXV Eastern. KXXV. Can you clarify
That question I cannot clarify, but let me clarify my words. The initiation of the search and investigation was into the disappearance of Vanessa Guillen. So let's stick with that as an approach. The disappearance of Vanessa Guillen.
I think what we were both trying to get to is probable cause.
That does become a comment on, and I'll take the next question.
KEYE.
Whoa. KXXV gets question.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Dennis Turner, KXXV. This is for Officer Phelps. Back to this relationship between Private Gillen and Mr. Robinson. Did she come to know something about him she shouldn't have known? And did she pay the price for that? And was this other woman involved?
Again, I can't comment on that. I will tell you that they were co-workers, and that's all the information we have at this point. We continue to look into the relationship and the in-depth of that relationship.
KEYE.
First Flores, I have a question for each of you. Can you comment on what led investigators to where the remains were found on Tuesday? And also, the Yance family has been very adamant that
due to the ongoing investigation.
Sexual harassment claims led up to her disappearance this week. If you're taking any sort of responsibility as far as how these chain of events.
They pinged his phone.
I will say that we've got credible information on the site. I can't say where that came from again because it's an ongoing investigation. And I'll defer to the original for a second.
So the criminal investigation has not found a link to incidents of sexual harassment. The allegations of sexual harassment made by the family, as well as other allegations that have been made as part of this investigation into the disappearance, are taken very seriously, and that's what's To address those, the Army has opened a second investigation to address the allegations of sexual harassment. But at this point in the investigation, the two are not linked.
Right, that's what I was saying. I mean, it could be that there's two separate deals, you know?
As well as the disappearance, the criminal aspect of Vanessa's disappearance.
Associated Press. Hi. Sorry. Lana husband. My question's actually going to be for Mr. Phelps. And I apologize about this question, but it's from the other AP journalist. They were wondering if you could, they had information received that Vanessa Guillen might have been murdered in the arms room. Is there any way you can confirm that, sir?
I cannot confirm specific details of the investigation.
Okay. Well, I've got an email from Julie Rule that their attorney told us what
Is
happened.
there any way to also, I'm sorry about this question, but is there also any way to confirm the details that the suspect dismembered the body prior to disposal?
Again, we can't comment on specifics because it is an ongoing investigation.
Right. I just
This is totally standard, everybody. I mean, this is how it is.
Could you also confirm or deny if the civilian suspect has been released from bail yet, or is she still in custody?
Recent information says she's still in custody.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Spectrum? Okay.
Box 7? Hi, I'm Natalie Martinez with Box 7 Austin. Guillen's lawyer is calling for a congressional investigation because they are not pleased with how the case was handled and say there were breaches of protocols throughout this case. Can you comment on that and if anyone else will be reprimanded for breaking protocols? And when I say protocols, I mean check-ins and who was responsible for what?
As part of the Army,
Yeah, I already got the link
reviews on our performance
from somebody else. I just said that.
It's in our DNA. It's part of our culture. We're incredibly critical of ourselves, and that's how we get better. As such, that's as part of an external review is why I've requested ForceCom to come down and do a review of this sexual SHARP program at Fort Hood, Texas. So the source of the external review matters not to me. I welcome it because it's what we do in the Army going forward. In terms of the conduct of the investigation, I'll put Agent Phelps up here to address the mechanics of that and the technical aspects. But I can tell you, I've been part of other criminal investigations, and the team that's come together to do this is exceptional. And their performance has been absolutely exceptional, and I'm appreciative of that.
I will say that CID investigations have oversight by DOD and congressional oversight, so we welcome if they can help us, great. But yes, it's already a part of the sufficiency process of our investigations.
And just a quick follow-up. As you see online, hundreds of soldiers have come out with sexual assault claims and allegations. Would y'all consider having an outside agency begin to investigate sexual assault claims within the military?
Man, that question's really out beyond my purview. At Fort Hood, we welcome external review because it's part of what we do to make sure we're doing the right thing and we get better. The source of that matters not to me. For us, it's about holding ourselves accountable and making sure we live up to the
The first case has, the suspect, the second, the civilian. Can you foresee information and investigation? What was discovered at that scene?
I can tell you that I can't release any information. The second suspect, the civilian suspect, continue to examine.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Even a name for that second suspect?
I can't release that. It is not, I don't have the release authority because it is not in my jurisdiction, and I am not conducting.
Remember in the
this-
Knika case, that meant it was edited.
Is there someone here that is
When you have the
leader that
pixelation.
could release? Tell us her name.
Chief Kibble?
Yes.
This is edited, everybody. This is
I
edited.
can't release it.
In a civilian case, we would get the name of the suspect. Give us. Yeah.
Can we give you the
You
name?
don't even know what the agency wants.
You know,
She been charged. I don't know that.
but I'm sorry, but do we not? We're trying to be transparent here, and we can't get a name of a suspect. Like we have thousands of people watching. Yes, like this is.
I understand the frustration, but I do not have the authority to release that information.
We have DPS here. Deceased
Is this still
state
who you
agency.
are? That's all we want to know, yes or no?
I can't confirm that information due to the ongoing investigation, and I don't have the authority.
Confirming a suspect name
I
does
have a
nothing to
picture
a case,
here.
though.
This is the Texas authority?
A suspect that's confirming a name and giving a name does nothing for.
He has
They
answered
picked the wrong guy to put out here. Let's put it
Would you like
that
to
way.
move on with the press conference? Army time?
KCEN. Jasmine Caldwell, KCEN. Well, there's not a lot that could be said about the investigation because it's ongoing. What would you say, because, you know, the family and attorney of Vanessa Guillen's family have pretty much released everything about what happened, you know, how she was killed, and things like that. Is there anything that
Yeah, but
you
saying the name of the
say to
suspects
that?
won't, because they're all already out
I
there.
can't comment on the validity or the accuracy of that report.
I've never heard the press so frustrated.
We have
It's amazing.
time for 2 more questions.
I saw your hand. Yeah. My name is Jolena Mendares. I'm with Texas Public Radio.
My question is about the Inspector General looking into the SHARP program, and I wanted to know, why was the team given less than a week to evaluate the program, and will their findings ever be made public, or will they be kept private?
The investigation by the external review was not constrained by time. The Inspector General can
I think he
come
got
as
accidentally
often
hidden
as
there,
long
Rebel
as they
Will.
like. They are not
Bet you're
they are
back.
well trained in conducting these type of investigations, so it's not constrained by resources, time, people, etc. And yes, when the investigation is completed, it will be available.
So this June 30th to July 3rd date that I have, you're
Ah,
saying that
Jesus.
it could last longer than that, and they can come back.
They will do the investigation until it's complete, much like the criminal proceeding. I'm sorry, it's not investigation, it's inspection. Let me be clear about that. The Inspector General does inspections. Law enforcement does investigations. Let me be clear.
One more question.
Hey, everybody, hit that like button.
So,
Or
also
dislike,
have
whatever one you
information
want.
for the family that I'd like you to confirm that Guillen was falsely checked in throughout the day of her disappearance. So I was wondering if that was true, and if Robinson was also checked in during those times throughout the day.
Ma'am, I'm not aware of any specific information on Robinson. In regard to Specialist Guillen, the internal procedures of the unit are being investigated by the unit commander. But the system of accounting for soldiers continued to work, and that's why the same day of her disappearance, we were able to contact the family, initiate the search, and request an investigation.
Do you know how many times during that day since her disappearance she was supposed to be checked in before nightly curfew because of COVID-19?
And I'm not aware of the internal procedures of the unit to do that. It varies by unit, by location, by duty status. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an ongoing investigation. More answers will be forthcoming, and you deserve those. And as soon as we can provide them, we will. Thank you for coming today. And again, please remember the Guillen family in your prayers. Thank you.
Can you guys release a photo of the suspect of Robinson?
Please remain seated until the party is going to go through. Did we get printed names? I don't think we did.
Yeah, that's the feeling I had right there. Okay, let me check out this link really quick. Okay, this is from Crime Online here. By Julie Rule sent it to me, I don't know, 25 minutes ago, but on email. So let's see. Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen bludgeoned dead with a hammer in Armory room, family lawyer says. So I think if the family lawyer is saying this, so we can probably believe it, okay? In an interview with Crime Stories Nancy Grace, the Guillen family attorney Natalie Quaham provided disturbing details regarding the death of Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen, whose remains were found earlier this week in a shallow grave. The U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Unit met with Quaham on Wednesday after human remains were found in a shallow grave close to the Leon River in Texas. The meeting with officials came months after 20-year-old Guillen disappeared from Fort Hood. Officials told the attorney that the evidence they had against junior soldier Aaron Robinson dated back to the day when Guillen disappeared after witness spotted him in an Armory parking lot. Robinson was not the person who called Guillen into work. Okay. Was not the person who called Guillen into work on the day off on April 22nd. Now, so that was her day off, but she was on base. Robinson was not the person, okay? But he's the one responsible for killing her. See, could it be that he was interested or in her and, you know, he wasn't harassing her or anything? Or who knows? Maybe they were actually... I mean, we don't even know what the story is at all with these two people. But maybe he killed her because she wouldn't comply to his wishes. You know, like he was going to try to sexually assault her, but she didn't comply, and then he killed her with the hammer. And then the girlfriend, he maybe told a different story to his girlfriend, and then she came in and tried to help. Or, you know, we don't really know, okay? But the harassment story that the family was telling us the whole time was that it was a sergeant, which this guy isn't. Okay, so you can't take part of the family story and go, well, they misheard that part, but yet the... Okay, so we don't know if there was any harassment involved with this guy and her, or what was going on yet, okay? Now, I believe... the story, if she told the family that she was being harassed somewhere else, you know, maybe a sergeant or something like that. I mean, there's no reason not to believe that story. I'm just wondering why everybody needs there to be, like, this guy here needs to have harassed her. He's still the murderer, okay? Let's just figure out the actual reason why he murdered her. Okay, now the person who has the answer to that question is probably this girl right here. I guess her name is Cecily Aguilar, and I think her name is Spanish, but she isn't. That's what I was reading yesterday. And then here's Aaron Robinson right there. All right. So when you look at cases, don't just jump on something because you want to believe it. You know, you get that a lot. You know, you get people who go, oh yeah, it's like this. So you just keep going and going and going and going and going. I totally agree that there's probably harassment on the base, probably something unrelated. It could be related. It might not be. But let's just wait and let things develop, because there's absolutely no evidence at this point now, because the story that we were told about harassment involved a sergeant, a superior officer who walked into the shower and, you know, different events, I guess. Well, this guy wasn't. He was just a specialist, a co-worker. Okay, so what part of that story, now the story about harassment, how does that point to this particular guy? Can you guys explain that? Who's estranged husband? Yeah, this girl with the redhead right here is the girlfriend of let's see, what's his last name? Robinson, right? This girl right here is the girlfriend of Robinson, and then she is the estranged wife of another soldier. Who's that? Anybody know who that is? Yeah, and then Aaron Robinson, which is really unusual. That's one of the things that I think is unusual. You don't see very often a black man commit suicide. And I don't know. It just seems like it would have been more like a suicide by cop, you know, start firing. It's just strange that he was walking and then he just put a gun to his head and shot himself when the cops showed up. That's just so rare. I've never heard that before. Okay? But apparently he did do that. Well, he did commit suicide, Tracy Hall, because the cops saw him, they pulled up to him and he shot himself. Okay? We don't do the conspiracy bullshit here. If you want to start doing cover-ups, oh, well, the police thought that they didn't really see it, and they just made it up. They put a gun in his hand, and it was all... Yeah, forget it. Okay? That's for a whole different channel. Okay? Go to that one. That's not what I do here. All right, let's see what it says right here. Guillen reportedly spotted photos of Aguilar. Wait, who's Guillen? Okay, hold on, let me get down to this part right here. Robinson was not the person who called Guillen into... Well, Vanessa Guillen is her, but I'm trying to figure out what the photograph... Let's see, into work on her day off on April 22nd. The last day she was alive, but he's the one responsible for killing her. When Guillen arrived at work, Robinson was already inside the armory room working. Guillen reportedly spotted photos of Aguilar on his phone and confronted him about an affair with someone married to a former soldier. Let's see. Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Well, how is that an affair? On his phone and confronted him about having an affair with someone married to a former soldier. So, okay, this lady here, but she was estranged. Okay, I see. So she's like, why are you having an affair with, because she's still married technically. So Vanessa confronted him about that. So this is interesting. This is all just, so do you hear that? That has nothing to do with harassment. In fact, he didn't even try to hit on Vanessa at all. He was trying to cover up his affair with somebody, apparently, according to this. All right, at this point, an argument ensued, and Robinson allegedly told Guillen that he wouldn't let her ruin his military career. Boom. We were just saying that the other day. He then grabbed a hammer. And that's exactly the whole thing about him shooting himself in the head, too, because it was sort of like the honor thing at that point, because he knew everything was over, and I don't know, maybe that's a military thing. So at this point, an argument ensued, and Robinson allegedly told Guillen that he wouldn't let her ruin his military career, because that's a huge issue in the military. He then grabbed a hammer and bludgeoned her to death, and then leaving blood all over the armory room. Wow. Man, I thought it would have been strangulation in the armory room. Last night I was saying that she was killed in the armory room, but it was probably strangulation. But man, a hammer is really incredibly messy. Robinson then had Guillen's body, we said this last night, was put into a pelican case, stored inside the armory room. I didn't have that. Then left the base to buy supplies. He then returned that evening and took the case to Leon River area. Quam and Robinson determined that he couldn't dispose of Guillen himself, and in turn, there you go, and contacted Aguilar and asked her to help. There you go. So we had about 70% of that accurate. Both Robinson and Aguilar then used a machete to hack Guillen's body apart. They used cement to encase her body parts and get rid of evidence. Vanessa's sister I thought she was covered in lime, then she was just covered with cement. Vanessa's sister, Mara, was arriving at the base while was looking for her sister. They were dismembering. Oh, wow. So they were dismembering her body when the sister was at the base looking for her. Man. After leaving the scene, the suspect threw a machete, hammer, and Guillen's cell phone from a car window. Jeez. So those are going to be out there somewhere on the side of the road. People should try to look for that. Look for the most likely route from the base. Because they may have found it by now, but they hadn't found the cell phone. Although a witness saw Robinson leaving the base on April 22nd with a Pelican case, no warrants were taken out until after investigators found the remains. How ludicrous is that? See, that's the part that everybody's pissed off about. Okay, so I'm going to say it again. I think the military should have no business in investigating themselves. Okay? Zero. Whenever there's a problem, a crime committed or missing person, it's not a military thing. It's immediately given to detectives, and the military only facilitates and tries to help in any way they can. You know, if they obstruct justice, then they get brought up on charges. But I think military people are required to help and tell the truth during an investigation, the leadership anyways. And if they obstruct justice, then they're brought up on charges too. Almost like they have to tell the truth, because that's what their job is. They're part of the military. All right, so that's one of the things here. But now that we read through this, everybody, doesn't it make you think that there had nothing to do with harassment at all? Okay, so while I was listening to the press conference and what they were saying, and what the actual that the suspect wasn't a sergeant, he was just a co-worker, then that didn't match the story being told by the family regarding harassment. You know, I was thinking, well then, heck, maybe he's just something else happened. And look at what happened here. It has nothing to do with sexual harassment whatsoever. Is there anybody... put a 1 if you don't believe this story that the lawyer's telling. The story that the lawyer is telling, put a 1 if you don't believe it. And then tell me why. Because you want to not believe it, or... Okay, yeah, because Bobby wants it to be something else. Yeah, Julie Rule sent that to me. I guess somebody else sent it to me on Facebook, but I haven't got there yet. Yeah, you notice it's all this conspiracy wackos that don't want to believe it. I believe it. And here's a picture of the hole right here, and this is where her body was, and it was covered with lime, cement, and then dirt put back on top of it. Apparently, EquuSearch was walking through the area too. And everybody, searchers, they walked over the body multiple times in the search. Yeah, this is crazy. So let me see, that's what's great about just kind of using the facts at hand to try to figure out what's going on. You know, yesterday we thought, wow, she was being harassed, and that the guy they arrested was the sergeant that was harassing her, right? And then it seems like, well, hell, he killed her to cover up to save his career. So part of that story was right. Then, you know, the whole part about the girlfriend was weird. And then during this press conference, I was thinking, well, the girlfriend probably just came to help. Well, which is weird is the girlfriend is the one he was having the affair with that would have got him in trouble. And she, too, had a vested interest in him not getting in trouble, you know, to protect herself. Man, got kind of complicated all of a sudden. Well, it's actually a little less complicated, but it's more interesting, I guess you could say. Okay, after leaving the case, the suspect threw the machete, hammer, and Guillen's cell phone from a car window. Although a witness saw Robinson leaving the base on April 22nd with a Pelican case, no warrants were taken out until after investigators found the remains. Officials told the lawyer that Guillen's face had been bludgeoned so badly that officials could barely use dental records since her teeth were smashed in during the gruesome attack. She was identified through strands of hair. So how long did it take for them to find this blood spatter in the armory? Is that something new too? I mean, they should have been on... If they had gone into that armory early and done some sort of luminol, because that's where her items were found, tested around, they would have been on this shit right off the get-go. I bet you they just started doing that. Like a week ago or so. So far, Guillen's mother has not been told the details regarding the brutal attack or that the remains have been found. In a press conference Wednesday, Guillen's sister indicated that the mother was in bed taking medication and is not tuning into media. Robinson, according to family... I mean, it's going to just absolutely destroy her when she realizes how she was killed. I think Aaron Robinson was a bad actor for a long, long time. Dr. Bethany Marshall, a Beverly Hills-based... Okay, I don't really care about that opinion. Who knows? He was probably having an affair and just wanted to protect himself. I'm not saying, when I say just wanted to, I don't think there's some bigger thing here. I know that it makes the story more interesting if you get psychoanalysts on that come up with this big, long thing. They don't have any history of him, so they don't really know what's true there. Could just be that he was having an affair, and in the military you get court-martialed for, I think, for, adultery, right? It's a huge deal there. So, he was protecting his own career. I don't know what that means, proof of prior reports. Anyways, the quote, the whole place was filled with blood. See, listen to this. The question still remains, how did the suspect manage to cover up an armory room full of blood? The whole place was filled with blood. He was there between 10:30 a.m. and 11:13 in the room, which makes no sense. He kills and cleans up the whole... Well, how about, what if he put something over her head, then smashed her through that item? Like, let's say he put a leather pillowcase type thing over her head, right? And then just smashed her over and over and over with the hammer through that. And then there wouldn't be spatter all over the place because leather you can't really break through with a hammer. Okay, so what if it's something like that? He kills and cleans up the whole crime scene. You can't. And the thing is, you can't clean up. There isn't anybody out there that after killing somebody and bashing them with a hammer over and over and over and over and over again can get every single... even close to all of the blood spatter. The cast off, it goes all over the place. Yeah, maybe like Stacy said, one of those green canvas army bags. That would definitely lower the blood spatter dramatically, but you'd have to use something where it couldn't get through, because as soon as you get any kind of blood on the outside of the... let's say you did put a bag, just a burlap sack over her head. The first couple blows wouldn't create any spatter, but then the blood would come out, get the burlap sack bloody, then the hammer would start casting blood off anyways. Okay, so you need something that wouldn't be able to seep through to kind of isolate that. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you guys just sort of an idea of how... a possibility of why there might not be blood spatter all over the place. Yes, everybody, hit the like button. Even if you don't like me, do something for God's sakes. Hit the dislike button. I don't care. Just hit one of them. All right? Hit the like button, 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 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, hit the like button, like button, like button, like button, 30, sir, 25, and you're out. I'm 25, 30, hit the like button, hit the... There you go. Now you can't hit both, but hit one. Just close your eyes and click. All right, we got up to 314. The rest of them are all probably people that are just trolls that don't like me. They're just here because I'm doing a show. Yeah, so definitely I don't think the military should be investigating themselves. And the harassment stories that Vanessa was telling could very well be true. They're just absolutely unrelated to the murder, as we just found out from the Julia Rule link, and apparently somebody else sent me a link on Facebook that I haven't had time to go check. Okay, so the murder had nothing to do with harassment whatsoever. And let's see, the whole place was filled with blood. He was there between 10:30 and 11:13. Makes no sense. Aguilar has since made bail on third-degree felony charge. Wow, so she made bail. So I guess her charge would be, you know, like helping to cover up a murder, or I don't know. It seems like that should be a bigger charge. Isn't that crazy? Like her body was... Let me go back over that first part again. It was in that case for a long time. Yeah, let's just go over this again for those just showing up. Here we go. When Guillen arrived at work, Robinson was already inside the armory room working. So he's in there working. And then I'm not sure how this... Aguilar must have spilled some beans at some point. That's how I'm thinking. Because I don't know how the attorney knows some of this detail. Because the only person that might know would be Aguilar. That's it. The girlfriend here is the only person that might know, I would think, because it was just Guillen and Robinson in the room, and then he must have said, hey, this is what happened. So that's, well, here's the thing, is that's the story that Robinson told Cecily Aguilar. That's what he told her. So I guess it's possible that, you know, he didn't tell her the truth. Maybe he did try something on Guillen and then did something. But let's just say that he was telling the truth to the girlfriend, and then she told authorities that, and then the authorities told the lawyer, and this is what the lawyer is saying. Guillen reportedly spotted photos of Aguilar on his phone and confronted him about having an affair with someone married to a former soldier. Well, how did she spot images on his phone of him having an affair with a former soldier? He just had him sitting out in the open? And, you know, why would he take pictures of that? Yeah, so I'm just telling you some of the stuff that's a little weird, you know, going back over it again. Okay, but I think the story, it sounds absolutely legitimate. You know, there might be some parts that weren't conveyed exactly right or whatever, but, you know, that's the whole thing, is the reason he shot himself is exactly sort of that same kind of thing. It's dishonorable to have an affair with another soldier's wife. You get court-martialed for it anyways. And then he actually killed somebody to protect that. And then he said, screw it. Okay? Actually makes a little bit more sense now. Yes, and if you guys would like to help support the channel, feel free to do so. We donate money at the end of each month. Alright, here we go. Vanessa's sister... Let me get down. At this point, an argument ensued, and Robinson allegedly told Guillen that he wouldn't let her ruin his military career. He then grabbed a hammer and bludgeoned her to death. The lawyer said, leaving blood all over the armory room. But see, that's okay. Here's the thing: is she's saying that as speculation, because down here she says that it was all cleaned up. Well, that means that maybe she was killed with something over her head. How does he know? How does she know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She doesn't know. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Robinson then hid Guillen's body in a pelican case, stored it to the side of the armory room. See, that's crazy that that body was sitting there in a, you know, in a case for hours. Left the base to buy supplies. He returned that evening and took the case to the Leon River area. Hey, thanks, Michelle. The lawyer said Robinson determined that he couldn't dispose of Guillen himself, and in turn contacted Aguilar, his girlfriend, and asked her to help. Both Robinson and Aguilar then used a machete to hack Guillen's body apart. Man. See, the thing is, I've talked about this before. Anybody that has the ability to hack a body into parts, even if it's just for a perceived logical reason, you should be in prison for the rest of your life, okay? Because there's something wrong with you. That you could literally hack body parts off of somebody. Right? So even if you're like we've talked about before on the show, you're at home and somebody, you're a drug user, somebody comes over and overdoses on drugs, and you panic and chop her up into, chop the person up into bits, right? You know, her or him, I guess. And then you place all the parts around because you're nervous. Well, listen, I don't care that you didn't do anything. You should be, you didn't kill the person. You need to be put in prison for the rest of your life because there's something wrong with you. You get it? Robinson then hid Guillen's body in a pelican case. Okay, we got that one. The lawyer determined that he couldn't dispose of Guillen. Robinson determined that he couldn't dispose of Guillen himself and got the girlfriend to help. And Vanessa's sister, Myra, was arriving at the base while she was looking for the sister. They were dismembering her body. Jesus. After leaving the scene, the suspects threw the... Let's see. Where did they dismember her, though? Wow, that's crazy. Should help. Both Robinson and Aguilar then used a machete to hack Guillen's body apart. So hope, well, hopefully it was at the armory, just so that there's stuff around. But it seems like it's more at the scene. It's like they hacked her body apart. They used cement to encase her body parts and get rid of evidence. Why did they do that, though? Vanessa's sister was there at the base while they were doing that. After leaving the scene, the suspects threw the machete. Okay, leaving the scene meaning the area at the bridge. So she was actually found right here, everybody. It's actually right on this, right in here, in the woods right there. So after they were leaving the scene, they threw those items out. Yeah, and that could be where, remember when Tim Miller said they found items associated with the case? So they could have easily found in this creek down here the machete and some of those other items, and we don't get to know the answers to those questions. Yeah. And this is a street view from 2011, so it doesn't look quite the same. But you can see on the media footage that's right back in here. So they just kind of came in like this. I don't know if they turned around. They probably even drove back. See, my opinion is that when we were doing the show last night, that they probably drove the truck back here to hide and then turned off the lights, then took her out, dug a hole right around in this area, dug a hole and did all the things they were doing with lime and cement and so forth. That's just my opinion looking at the layout here. It'd be kind of stupid to put a car here, then a police car drives by and goes, hey, what's going on here? Gets out and comes around. But if you parked over here, turn the lights off, a police car driving by wouldn't see it. You get what I'm saying? Although the witness saw Robinson leaving the base on April 22nd with a Pelican case, no warrants were taken out until after investigators found the remains. All right, I'm going to put the link to this in the description, and then you guys can go watch the or listen to the interview with Nancy Grace. All right, everybody, I think that is going to be it. This is the grave right here where she was found, covered in lime, cement, and then dirt again. And then the ground was made to look normal and natural. You know, probably spread some of this bark dusty, you know, leaves and foliage on top of it. You know, try to make it look really normal. And an animal must have gotten in there somehow. And that's why the person was able to find her. That was just working out there. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of her, but I think her podcast is a hell of a lot better than her show. Okay, so thank you to Kelly78, Nicola Jane, Jennifer Scarpa, Mama Bear, Alifair M, Tracy Seamer, Mama Bear again, Amanda B, Film Chick 63, Linda House of Chill, Andrea Ruggiero Drum, Maybe Sunshine, Lemon Soul, and Michelle. Now later this evening I'll see if I can find a better recording of that press conference and boost up the audio and make it clear so we can just hear the whole thing maybe uninterrupted. Or I'll stop it and comment here and there, but I'm just saying it just kept pausing and stopping and pausing and stopping. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate all the support. And like I said, we're just starting a new month. At the end of this month, we'll probably donate to some of those same charities again. For sure, EquiSearch, because they need the funds. They're really struggling at this point. They usually do a fundraiser during this time of year, but the pandemic didn't allow them to do it, so they're just kind of relying on people going, oh yeah, Texas EquiSearch. So if you're out there and you want to donate to Texas EquiSearch, go to their website and do it. We just donate a big chunk because take a portion of the money from super chats and channel memberships and donate at the end of the month. All right, everybody. That's it. So make sure you're still washing your hands. Wear your mask if you go to the store. Don't let people tell you that it's weird. It's actually normal now. And maintain your social distancing so we can get through this latest spike. All right. So we will see you guys later this evening. I might talk about this case and some cold cases, but who knows? It might just be this one, since that seems to be a lot of breaking news coming out on it, and it'd be interesting to maybe we'll open up the lines for people to call in and talk about it. All right, so thank you guys very much, and until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now, and during this whole time I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector Flag rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grayl's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a flood protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.
Hey, alright, that was fun. Thanks, Gray.
Wait, why are you talking to me? You should be talking to John Boy.
Okay, hey, good to see you, John Boy.
Well, I wasn't even saying anything. I was just sleeping, and then you woke me up.
Oh, okay. Hey, you guys, we'll see you tonight. Gosh, John Boy, you're so mean.
Wow, I'll tell you, those two are nuts. Alright, everybody. See you later. Be safe out there.